The fourth reason we love is we love for the sake of gracious dealings. When you see someone dealing with others graciously, even if you are not a recipient of that graciousness, you can't help but love them, right? Like, they're gracious, generous, benevolent with their money, or with their comfort, they go out of their way to help. Or with their reputation, they just live and let live and just let it go and just forgive and forget, and you just can't help but be drawn to that person, right? Like, that's what the whole like reputation management, PR, like public relations industry is all about. To capture for you your good moments, though we all have bad moments, right? But to capture the good moment when the politician is carrying somebody else's baby and say, oh man, he's such a kind-hearted person. I think I'm going to vote for that guy. I like him, right? That's what it's all about. It wasn't your baby they carried, right? But that's what it's about, even if you're not the recipient. You know, from Allah's grace, the little bit of research that I got to do with Yaqeen about what so many historians have said about the Prophet ﷺ's personality, sometimes they just are so enamored by his gracious dealings with the world that you sit there and you're like, you sure you're not Muslim? Like, they just celebrate him and you think, like, what has he done for them? Like, he didn't spare them or forgive them or give them or shelter them. He didn't do anything with them, these historians. But it doesn't have to be for them. Simply seeing it in others is just so compelling. And so that's what I want you to do for this fourth one. I want you to step back for a second. This is going to sound weird if you're too much into sci-fi. Imagine you're not a human being, okay? Imagine I'm not talking about you just yet. Step out and look at the history of the universe. What Allah did for the human being before the human being even arrived. He creates for humanity an entire universe, right? With the skies and the earth and colors and varieties. He creates for them the mountains, but then He doesn't just leave it all mountains. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ فِيهَا سُبُلًا. He cut for you pathways through it, or else the planet would not be trekkable, right? Traversable. It would just be for rock climbers only. Like you're a cliffhanger or you're dead. He cut through, He made moving on this earth possible. And then He created for this earth oxygen. Now you can breathe. Only now can you breathe. And then He created for this earth fresh water, right? Now you can drink. And then He created for this earth a majority of its water as salt, ocean water, or else this planet would rot, by the way. And then He caused this entire earth to sprout with all these different types of fruits and vegetables and produce and vegetation, and places on this earth animals that reproduce and fill this world with steak and burgers and good stuff, right? Before the human even shows up. And then He brings the human beings here. And Shaykh Umar Hafidhahullah was just saying, just think about the process. Like, the human being goes through 9 months of swimming in a bucket of water, right? Totally helpless, totally isolated. And Allah protects them from any drop of that water, like leaking in, seeping into any crevice, any cavity that would sabotage its developing, fragile, sensitive little organs inside. And then through one root, like you know how the tree gets everything from one place? He places for you like a root in you, the umbilical cord where you get everything. One-stop shop. You get the nutrients and you get the air, and the waste comes out through the carbon monoxide, the exits from the same exact place. And then He places in you an eye that until today, we're still trying to reproduce a camera to model the human eye. Like, you have 120 million light receptors, they say, in the human eye. Like, how do you put that together with little tweezers? And an eye that runs like 70, 80, 100 years without batteries, by the way. Right? And an eye that's like self-maintained. It has like a cleansing system, doesn't fog, doesn't blur. You might blur if you get dizzy, but your eye doesn't blur and refocus, right? All of that, He placed them in your eyes. And then He gave you a mind, a brain. Wait, we said it's not you. We're stepping back. He gave the human being, not you, okay? If He just did this for the humans and you weren't one of them, how gracious. He gave the human being a brain. You know, some neurologists say that if we wanted to produce a computer that could do what the brain does as efficiently as the brain does it, you'd need a computer that was a building, 5 times the size of the Empire State Building. with 16 million tons of wires to connect it, and the Mississippi River just to keep it cool. And Allah Azza wa Jal placed that in your little head. Some of you have bigger heads than others, but in your little head. You know, another neuroscientist I read a few years ago said that all of the digital data on the planet, like Facebook, all of it, YouTube, all of it, company websites, servers, database, archive, all of the digital data on the planet can be condensed into a drop of human DNA, like if we had the ability, meaning there's enough information in a drop of our DNA that weighs as much as 8 paper clips. This is what Allah gave the human being, right? And so the idea after all of these, even if you were not a human being, wouldn't that be a reason to love Him, to see how He deals with them, these humans?